Up on Mountain News this morning, we'll cover some of last night's election results and the final numbers. And some teachers say they make less now than what they did 10 years ago due to inflation.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 5 a.m. this Wednesday morning. Let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
You're almost saying Monday, Madison, because it is your Monday, right? 63 last check here in Hazard. Nice start to the day. Little layer of fog trying to develop, but visibilities across the region, not like we've had the last few mornings thus far. 69 your way at Jackson, 66 at Ashland, sitting at 70 at Moorhead to 71 as you make your way back toward Lexington. It is 70 at Somerset and 63 as you make your way down your way at Harlan. All right, here is the satellite weather composite. And as you can see, waves of clouds continue to stream on across the Commonwealth from west to east. You look up toward Louisville. We got a couple of showers that'll track up toward Covington and Cynthiana, but we may actually see a couple of showers try to get toward Richmond and Moorhead as we head through the next couple of hours, and be kind of a theme as well as we head through the afternoon. Not a rain now, but still enough to be able to take notice of as we forecast a high under partly sunny skies here in Perry and Breathitt counties up to 84. More about your first alert 7-day forecast on this Wednesday morning coming up in a few moments. Madison, back to you.
All right, Tim, thank you. Before we get into some of last night's election results, we have some developing news in Letcher County. An 11-year-old boy is dead after he is believed to have drowned in the North Fork of the Kentucky River in Blackie. The coroner says Curtis Halcomb of Blackie was pulled from the river and taken to the hospital, but pronounced dead around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. An autopsy is being performed. Another developing story from last night, a former Powell County judge executive is dead after an incident in Jackson County. State police received a call from the McKee Police Department requesting help at Jackson County Middle School. Officers say 48-year-old James D. Anderson was reportedly unloading storm drain tiles from a lowboy equipment trailer when he fell. Officers say he died as a result. No foul play is suspected. Yesterday, a Pulaski County man was sentenced to 250 months in prison after his arrest last year at a traffic stop. It was March 29, 2023, when police say they found more than 50 grams of meth on 42-year-old France Allen Hilton. Officials say they also found more than $2,000 in the car. Hilton admitted he intended to distribute the meth to others. He was also convicted for trafficking meth in the Pulaski County Circuit Court in 2019. And a Laurel County man was sentenced to 12 months in prison for conspiracy to rig natural gas meters. Officials say Mark Holbrook, a 72-year-old man, and his son Marshall Holbrook began manipulating natural gas meters used on pipelines in 2016. The goal was to boost their profits by altering how much gas was read on the meter. The Holbrooks were in the business of sourcing natural gas for Somerset Gas Services and Delta Gas for more than 20 years before this. U.S. District Court Judge Claria Horn Boom ordered Mark Holbrook to pay a restitution of more than $1 million to SGS and $100,000 to Delta Gas.
Three names were on Tuesday's election ballot for the 29th District State Senate race. And shortly after the polls closed, incumbent Johnny Turner of Harlan County was announced the primary winner.
I just expressed my appreciation to everybody that went out to vote first, and I'm happy that I won, and I'm happy it was a good, clean election, and that we'll all end up friends, and I look forward to serving these same counties. I've got one election to win in the fall, but I thank everybody for this election.
Turner took Tuesday's victory with more than 60% of the votes and says he feels confident heading into the general election.
I look forward to having a good, clean, nice race. he still decides to stay in and run against me. That's a privilege, and I respect that and wish everybody the best of luck.
Saying his focus moving forward will remain the same for the citizens in each of the 5 counties in the 29th district.
So people know what I am, how I vote, how I work hard for this job and get things back to the counties from water projects to. I do a hands-on. Doing a good job is what they sent me down there for, and I take it personally to try to do a good job for every citizen I represent.
Turner has been representing the district since 2021. In the general election this fall, he will be running against independent candidate David Sir of Middlesboro. In Harlan, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
In total, Republican Johnny Turner won with 62% of the vote, or 4,305 votes. Republican Randy Thompson had 2,181 votes, and Republican Sean Gilley had 491 votes. One Letcher County city is going wet. Yesterday's election brought Fleming Neon one step closer to seeing alcohol sales in the city. Supporters represented 80% of the vote, with 66 voters saying yes. The 17 no votes only accounted for 20% of the vote. After dealing with devastation of the 2022 floods, voters in Fleming Neon say going wet may be the only way forward.
We need funds, the city needs funds, the tax rate isn't enough to carry us. FEMA money will be gone soon.
As you can tell from the vote, the majority of voters agreed it was important to have it in the city. We'll have more on the rest of the votes coming up at 5:30. A new study produced surprising findings regarding overdose deaths during the COVID pandemic. When compared to non-service industry employees, service industry employees experienced higher drug overdose fatality rates prior to 2020. However, as Samantha Valentino shows us, the COVID shutdown flipped the drug overdose death rates among these industries.
Terry Bunn is the director of the KIPRC and the lead author of a study taking a closer look at drug overdose fatality rates during the COVID shutdown.
We did find that, especially early in the pandemic, that both service-related industries and non-service-related industries both experienced increased drug overdose mortality rates.
However, when looking at the pandemic overall, Bunn says the study produced unexpected results.
Over the period of the gubernatorial business closures throughout 20 and 21, that actually the non-service related industries had a higher drug overdose mortality rate compared to the service industry, which was a surprising finding.
Pre-pandemic, the drug overdose rate per 100,000 employees for service industry employees was 46.7 and 45.7 for non-service industry employees. In 2021, the rates jumped to 76.2 and 81.9 respectively. Even with the increase, Bunn says the number of overdose deaths among service industry employees could actually be an underestimate. That's because death certificates, which were used to collect data for the study, only list someone's usual industry.
So if they were, say, work for the Postal Service as their usual job, but on a regular basis were a server in the restaurant industry, we would not be able to pick that up in the analysis.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Bunn says there is no real explanation as to why these industries saw a change in overdose fatality rates during the shutdown. However, she says their findings show that service-related industry employees may be more resilient and adaptable to changes in employment than non-service-related employees. And some Kentucky teachers are struggling to make ends meet. Data shows Kentucky educators make about $56,000 a year. However, when adjusted for inflation, teachers are making on average of 5% less than they did 10 years ago. Heather Thomas Deal has been an educator for more than 2 decades. She says there are times where she has had to go to her mother and ask for help getting by.
I mean, I hate to say it, but my husband were not able to keep food in the refrigerator. And I didn't want to have to go to my mother, who's 75 years old, to ask for help. I'm 49. I shouldn't have to do that.
Heather and Kathleen Salyers say some of their colleagues waitress or work retail on the weekend to help support their family. And while they recognize inflation is impacting all Americans, they say they wish teachers were respected enough to earn a livable wage. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we return, Hazard restaurants could be facing a new tax soon, but one say that will impact the area.
And we wake up temperature-wise, cozy and comfortable this morning. A little bit humid too. We'll check in with the visibilities to see how they're operating this morning. Yeah, it's been kind of difficult in some spots the last couple of days. How warm today? We'll let you know. First Alert 7-day forecast after this.